Hey folks, and welcome back to another one of my videos. I'm Brendan from Bluelight, and over the past several years I've been coaching and supporting people for the police recruitment process with a lot of success. There's a good few thousand who are now in the constabulary as a result of my support, something I'm really pleased about. If you check out the links below, you'll see a link to my courses, online courses, seminars, one-to-one coaching, and also a link to my Facebook support group, which has almost 7,000 members now. Almost 7,000 people helping and supporting each other through the police recruitment process. It's a closed group, so you'll need to answer a question about why you want to join it, but the majority of people do and are allowed access. So here we are in Leeds. Welcome to Leeds. Just finished a day of one-to-one coaching with some of my clients who are preparing for the Search Assessment Centre. And one of the things I've shared with them, which I've kind of decided to put out in the open, and I don't know why I've not put it out in the open before, is what I believe the possible questions will be at the assessment centre. Now, I always make it really clear to my clients that I will never ask them what happened at their assessment centre following their assessment centre, because they sign a confidentiality agreement, and that confidentiality agreement makes it really clear that they won't discuss the contents of the assessment centre with anyone. So I'll never ask that question. And in discussions with people, when I ask them, so how did it go, they may want to tell me something about what happened. And I'll tell them, no, I don't want to know, don't tell me, because you'd be breaching your confidentiality agreement. And I wouldn't want you to do that, because that's starting your career in the wrong way. Now, however, about 3 years ago, might have been a little bit more now, a few of my clients attended positive action workshops run by the Metropolitan Police. And what the Metropolitan Police did then is they said to them, you should prepare for the following types of question. And when they told me what the Met Police had been telling them in the positive action workshops, and one of them actually sent me a document that they were given on the day, which was interesting because I thought they're pretty good questions, those, very similar to some of the questions on the application form. And 2 of them are competency based and 2 of them are motivation and values type questions. So I'll share those at my seminar because I don't see the problem with that. The Met Police had already put it out in the public domain, and so I did. I've been running loads of seminars and loads of online courses and loads of guidance ever since, and I've been suggesting that it could be the case that these are the questions. No one's ever come back to me to say that advice was awful, Brendan. Actually, what clients do say is, I can't breach the confidentiality statement, but that part of the seminar was particularly interesting and particularly relevant. So what I think they're saying is, those are the questions. So I'm sharing it with you now. And I provide my clients with a lot of guidance on how to structure questions like this and how to develop good answers like this. I don't give them model answers because that would be inappropriate. I mean, to start with, I think it's inappropriate that they were shared by the Metropolitan Police, but now they're out in the public domain. I decided today I'm going to throw them out further into the public domain and share them with all and sundry. So, College of Policing are aware of this. I've highlighted it to them already, and I don't know, I've got to say, I'm afraid I thought their reaction was a little bit ambivalent. I shared with them a force that was giving their positive action candidates material which had College of Policing sensitive at the top. These were the script for the interviewers and marking guides for role plays. Highly inappropriate, I think, so I highlighted it, and like I said, the response from the College of Policing was a bit of ambivalence, really. I'm not quite sure if they actually did anything with it. They certainly didn't ever come back to me to say, this is what we've done about it. So if they're not that bothered, then neither am I. So I'll share it with you. Here we go. So I think some of the questions you're going to get are something about making a difficult decision. Now, don't confuse this with a big decision. We talked about the competencies that might relate to a difficult decision and what sort of things would need to be in your answer and what sort of things you'd need to consider from your background that would enable you to answer that question. Interestingly, on the national application form, that's one of the questions that's asked, so there's no reason why you can't use the same answer, because if you've got this far, then your answer is probably sufficient. You might just need to go into it in more detail. Another question, which I think is probable that might crop up, is a time when you've worked under pressure or to a deadline, something like that, in order to achieve a solution. Again, it's the same question that's on your application form. In terms of motivation and values, something about integrity. Now, on my online course, and also one about community engagement. I'm not sure what the actual questions are, nor do I want to know, so please don't tell me, but this is exactly the sort of thing that was my clients who went to the positive action workshops that the Met ran were told. So something about integrity, maybe code of ethics, and maybe the purpose of community engagement. So what I do on my online course, and I did this before the Met sort of leaked this out, is I looked at motivation and values and thought, well, what values are important to the police? I know it's not about your motivation to join the police, because I had a discussion a few years ago on LinkedIn about how I thought it was unbelievable that you could get into the police without ever being asked the question, why do you want to be a police officer? And the HR officer from the Ministry of Defence Police came back and said, exactly, and this is why we always ask this question at our final interview, because it's not asked at the assessment centre. Thank you, I thought. I'm sure you weren't meant to say that, but thank you for confirming that why you want to be a police officer is not asked at the assessment centre. So I put together some videos on my thoughts on, and with a load of research material that you could look at about the code of ethics. That's values, isn't it? Key part of the code of ethics, not sure if it still exists, but back then on the College of Policing website, out of all the values in the code of ethics, they had a whole page dedicated to integrity. And at the time, there was all sorts of problems about police integrity and cases going problematic because of police integrity. So I thought, well, actually, let's talk about police integrity, because it's a subject that's close to my heart anyway. Doing the right thing in challenging or difficult circumstances, even when no one's watching. So in my time, especially in the 80s and the 90s, I've challenged inappropriate behaviour. Wasn't very well supported by the force, I'm afraid, but that was a sign of the times. We look at things like the Blue Code of Silence, and also noble cause corruption, what that means, and how that manifested itself in the 80s and 90s, and why that led to us having to have something called a code of ethics. Anyway, on my modules and in the seminar, we also talk about the links between integrity and the other values, and things like organisational justice, procedural justice, the link between procedural justice and legitimacy, and then the link between legitimacy and community engagement, and how effective community engagement can reduce demand, problem-solving communities, and ultimately lead to Sir Robert Peel, the founder of the police service, his vision for what the police should be doing back in 1829. So a lot there that you can cover, and what most people normally agree is, oh my goodness, Brendan, you've given me far more than I can ever talk about in 5 minutes. So good. You know, I'm not going to give you a model answer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to point you in the right direction of the sort of research that I believe you should be taking. So there you go, folks. This is what I believe the questions will be, or something similar. Not because I've asked anyone, and not because I've done anything that's unethical, but because the Met Police shared it with all of their positive action candidates. So there you go. What else can I say about them? They could change, but they haven't changed. The College of Policing introduced a new assessment centre, or a modification of the old assessment centre in September 2015 it was, because there used to be just 4 competency questions. What they did in September 2015 is they changed 2 of those questions to motivation and values questions. That's in the information pack for candidates. It's nothing unknown. But no one's come back to me after all the seminars and all my guidance to my clients. No one's ever come back to me to say, actually, it's not good guidance anymore. So the College of Policing and the Met Police are busy focusing on their new day one. So I don't think they've got the headspace for developing a new set of questions and briefing all the assessors and interviewers and introducing new interviewer guides, prompting questions. I don't think they've got the headspace to do that at the moment, because I think they're focusing more on the day one. Because the day one will get rolled out onto every force right across the country over the next year or 2. So by 2020, end of 2020, I suspect search will be dead and buried. And good riddance to it as well. Like I said, the College of Policing have already highlighted in their own evaluation, you can see a copy of that evaluation, which went out in the public domain, by the way, in my Facebook group, under the documents section, where it makes it really clear that the assessment centre, as it stands, causes anxiety, nervousness, and the robotic approach does nothing to get the best out of candidates. Shame, really, because 3 years on, that was in 2016, it's now 2019, and there's only one force in the country that's still not doing search. So come on, College of Policing, pull your finger out, folks, and start getting a grip of it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this and got something out of this video. If you'd like to find out more, subscribe, like, depending on whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook. Ask to join the Facebook support group, or shameless plug here, join one of my courses and get the really good detailed stuff on a daily basis. I normally publish something in the client-only group on a daily basis in terms of guidance and support, some kind of video that's going to help you on your journey. So until next time, folks, it's goodbye from Leeds. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.